Kaiser here. You're watching me as part of the blog on supertrainer.com. And I'm in front of the black background and I have the fancy lights shining on me. That you know it's something important I got to tell you. And what I want to do right now was just introduce the conversation I had recently with Dave Parise. He's a big personal trainer out in Connecticut. He's the owner of Studio Results Plus. And me and Dave had the chance to talk recently. And what's going to come across in the interview is really the consummate pro Dave is. You're going to get the passion that he has for this business and how he approaches this business. And if you were ever in question of whether personal training was a bona fide career, that's going to be cemented in your mind after you listen to Dave talk. He's been in this business for 20 years. He has every certification in the business. He runs a big, successful studio. And just that professional mindset that a lot of times is lacking from other personal trainers, that's what's going to come across through Dave's interview. So that's why I wanted to get him on, and I wanted to share this with all of you. And another important thing that we touched on was the service aspect of his business. I mean, Dave is a very technically proficient personal trainer, and that's a cornerstone of what he does. But he's really made service the centerpiece of what they do at Results Plus. That's real important. That's something that I say all the time too. That as personal trainers, the product that we sell, what we do, it's largely intangible. So Dave has identified that, and he treats the product, the service, as a whole. So that's another important thing you're going to get. So just sit back and enjoy the interview. And we really touch across a wide range of things, a wide range of topics, and you're going to find it really educational. So enjoy. Kaiser here, and on this issue of Super Trainer, I've got a really great guest. It's Dave Parise, the owner of Results Plus Fitness and Personal Training in Hamden, North Haven. And Dave is one of the most qualified and highly experienced trainers in the country. He's been around for 22 years, and he has every certification and qualification in the book. So it's a real pleasure to have you on here, Dave.
Kaiser, thank you. How are you doing today?
Good. I'm doing good.
Awesome. That was quite an introduction.
No,
I really appreciate that, and I thank you greatly for having me on your show. Thank you.
You're welcome, and it's definitely a pleasure to have you on, and no, it's much deserved too. I didn't even touch on a lot of the things you've done in this business, but something I like to ask everyone, because I get a lot of interesting answers, even from the top trainers, is how you got started in personal training. How did that happen?
Okay. Well, a statement I'd like to start with is first impressions are made in the first 2 minutes, so I'm hoping that I make a good impression with my answers. And then the last statement is one I firmly believe in, is it takes 20 years to build a reputation, 5 minutes to destroy it. That's kind of my philosophy in life. And I obviously fill in the preview of coming attractions, everything in between. But the idea of mine was about 22 years ago, it was in the mid-'80s, so to speak. I had an idea of becoming an uncommon personal trainer, totally uncommon. So my passion was over and above the idea of making money. You know the old saying, people say, build it and they'll come? Mm-hmm. That's probably the worst attitude you can have as a business professional. So I basically developed uncommon exercises, mostly functional exercises, and I was ridiculed by most bodybuilders, the typical gym science. I was laughed at by Muscle and Fiction, I call it, magazine.
Uh-huh.
But my dream basically was customer service, continuing my education and thinking instead of following. There was a lot of trainers out there. They're just mimicking and doing everything that was in a textbook. They were just learning a start position, learning a finish position, and going through the motions. So when you look at the horizon, you see all the personal trainers training their clients. They're all kind of doing the same thing. I kind of classify them as rent-a-buddies, going from machine to machine, and maybe answering their cell phone, having a conversation, resting too long between sets, and that's basically you've seen it. You've seen it every day.
Yep.
So what I did is I just the way I reap the benefits and the rewards that automatically come to you is just by building customer service and continuing my education, thinking instead of following. I deliberately practiced relationships. It was all about the relationship, nurturing, pampering, and giving people more than they expected to get, and it worked.
Yeah, no, that's really spot on. You don't pull any punches. But yeah, I mean, it looks like you really you predated kind of the movement we see now, where trainers are trying to do more functional exercises and bring the focus back to the science. Be really ahead of your time. Now, one thing I want to ask you is the training industry. We've really seen it boom in the last 10 years, but you got started a long time before that. What was it like when you first started as a personal trainer? I mean, what was the business like at that point?
Well, you know, at that point, it was more or less, you know, again, like I said, it was more, the industry was just the Body by Jake trainers. If you remember Jake,
Yeah.
that's when it all kind of was all starting, and it was really easy to get a certification. There wasn't that many nationally accredited organizations out there certifying trainers. So I just started obviously as most trainers do. I was just totally into fitness and into wellness and studying and educating myself. I was a bodybuilder. I was a competitive bodybuilder all through the mid '80s, and I retired that in probably about 1992 roughly.
Okay.
But you know, when you talk about trainers and certified, just because you're certified personal trainer or getting certified doesn't mean you're qualified. So that's basically one of my pet peeves in the industry, because personal trainers today, they get certified, they go to a seminar, they learn some cool moves, they buy some new cool functional tools, and they can't wait to try them on their clients Monday morning.
Yeah.
So I see many trainers guessing, not assessing. So the message here is it's not about the cool tools nor the exercise, it's about assessing, not guessing. Just because you could doesn't mean you should. You've heard it 100 times. And that's what I've seen over the last 20 years. It is becoming much easier to be certified these days, and the only ones that are suffering basically are the clients.
Yeah. Wow. Now, with the things you just mentioned, with your approach to personal training, I'm assuming that that's the approach of Results Plus, your business out in Connecticut. Now, can you just talk a little bit about the place? How's it set up? What's the business like?
Yeah, clients come to us about 3 times a week. We have those overachievers that come 5 times a week. We have roughly today, because we keep track on this, we have a wellness newsletter that goes out consistently with tidbits of information on health and fitness and nutrition. We have a little over 350 clients currently today.
Wow.
We have 13 trainers on staff. It's about 5,000 square feet. And it's all basically one-on-one attention, private surroundings. It's uncommon. It's not like the regular training center. When people come in here, they get pampered. They get pampered from the minute they walk in. We call it the meet and greet, to the minute they leave the facility. As an example, when we talk about pampering and being uncommon, every time a client's sick, they get a bouquet of flowers, or they get something in the mail, or they get a Hallmark card, or something, that,
Wow.
that says,
I
we're
hope
thinking
people
about
listening
you.
to this are taking notes. That's some good stuff. Good customer service there.
So
Go on. Yeah.
That's a rule of thumb. Literally, if you miss a Wednesday, we're following up the next day, trying to get you in the book, making sure you get those 3 visits a week. We do grocery shopping for our clients, which is over and above the call of duty. So if someone says, I just don't have the time for this or that, we create a menu. We go out, we'll go grocery shopping, we'll pick up certain items at a Whole Foods store or a Wild Oats store, bring them a package. They look at us, okay, what do I owe you? Nothing, don't worry about it. And that's the kind of thing. And there's a big expense in that, but you know what? It's not about the money. That comes back tenfold. It really does. It comes back when you basically go over and above the call of duty. We have that kind of a Walt Disney, Ritz-Carlton attitude.
Mm-hmm.
And